Welcome to Building Your College Support Team, presented by Marilyn Barger, the PI and Executive Director for FLATE, Florida Advanced Technological Education Center of Excellence. These break time videos are sponsored by the CCTA, the Center's Collaborative for Technical Assistance, an NSF ATE-funded grant. CCTA's original purpose was to respond to a request from the Department of Labor, DOL, to the NSF to have ATE centers provide technical assistance services to DOL TACT grantees. And now that TACT grants are over, we are focusing strictly on helping NSF grantees and proposal writers. Our deliverables are to provide technical assistance webinars, workshops, and best practice documents.
Thank you, Christina, and welcome everyone. So now we're going to talk about how to get an internal support from your own institution. So as a quick overview of this short video, this short webinar, what we're going to cover is that it is an NSF requirement that you have strong support from your institution. The institution is the fiscal agent of the money that is granted in a grant, and they need to be involved in what's the grant project itself. So it is a requirement that you have institutional support. And what we're going to talk about today is how to kind of optimize that. So who are the players at your college who could help? Who can you engage? There might be a little difference between who can help and who can engage to be active participants. And what's in it for the college? Typically we talk about what's in it for me, but I just borrowed that and said, let's talk about what's in it for the college itself. And the bottom line, I think, for all of this is you don't want to try to do these projects alone. You can't really carry them out. Okay, so who can help in your college? What does your college organization actually look like? A lot of times faculty might not know that much about the college except the curriculum aspects and the courses and the programmatic information. So let's break it down a little bit. And there is, of course, the overall college administration. You definitely need approval from them. There's a big organizational subset for facilities, financial services, human resources, institutional research, the IT and computer services, legal, marketing, student services, and then of course there's the academic, which I didn't include here. There's probably more, and some institutions are organized differently. So just know that there's lots of people out there, and there's people in each one of these departments that may be helpful for you in your proposal, in your project. So I'll go through that list a little bit one at a time and talk about some of the things you might need those people for. I have to say that over the years that I've been the center director here and the PI of the FLATE Center, I've come to make very good friends in some of these other offices or colleagues that have really been helpful to me in navigating through difficult parts of the project, trying to identify money, helping with how do you hire people, how do you get release time, all of those things. So it's really been a great learning time for me about the organization of the college and how it actually works. So think about it as that opportunity as you start working on your proposal. So just for some examples, the administration, you may have to work out release time for faculty, just access to the buildings. You just need their general support that you'll be able to work on the project, and the college will accept the award once it comes. More details for support will come at the more local administration level that works right with you directly. The facilities, if you have events, many of these grant projects have events that occur on campus. I need to notify facilities about the possibility of using rooms or reserving space, that kind of thing. So it's good to know that that's a piece. Sometimes colleges actually charge for that. Sometimes we have a cleaning charge, lots of little details that you may need to know about your activities in your proposal. The financial services, now this is really important. You can see it's got a long list of possible interactions that you might have with them, from payroll to purchasing to grants accounting. Those are the people who may interact with NSF directly. Accounts payable for things you buy. They all have policies and procedures that you will have to live by when you want to buy things or hire somebody or just know how much money is around. You'll need to interact with somebody in an office that deals with the finances at your college. And human resources, obviously personnel. It might be for release time for faculty. It might be for part-time employees or students that you might hire. They've got their forms, policies, and procedures also that you'll have to deal with and work with. The institutional research offices. When I first started working in colleges, they didn't exist, but they've grown into having a life of their own and supply a lot of rich data for colleges and different institutions around the country, and they can provide some of that for your project as well. Some of the information about your college and its just that front end paragraph about what your college does, its vision, its mission, its goals, that kind of thing, as well as very specific details about students in your college, the ethnicity, gender breakout, majors, people enrollment in different programs. IT could be anything from just web support. If you want to have a web presence for your project on your college system, could be for special access or whatever, depending. Again, that's all project dependent. And then legal, the subawards and contract. If you hire someone on a contract for services of any kind, that would probably go through your legal department. Anything with dissemination will probably have to be checked by your marketing or external affairs. It might be external affairs at your college. So they may have an approval process and certain ways you can use their logo and those kinds of things. And then student services for event support, maybe the calendars, et cetera. It just depends. Again, some of these would depend on what you specifically are doing and you're proposing in your project. So those are people who can help you, and then there's some other people who you may actually want to engage as part of your project team. And this will depend a lot on what the focus of your particular proposal is going to be. If you're going to work specifically on curriculum, it may be other faculty, or if you have support for curriculum and online course materials and stuff, and one of those folks might be good partners to engage at some level within the actual activity of your grant in your project. If you're going to do PD, you may have a teaching and learning center that provides professional development in your institution that you can partner with to provide some of that, or some of the tools that they use might be available for you. And targeted research and recruiting, maybe student services, a partner in the student services or other faculty might be quite a good partner for you. So don't, again, don't do it alone, I'll say. And I think this group would be, the faculty, counselors, recruiters, they have different names in different institutions, or the professionals who help with online curriculum could all be good actual partners in the project. So again, the ATE solicitation specifically includes expectations of institutional support. I don't know anyone who can just go out and submit a grant by themselves and then tell the institution they got it and expect them to take it and provide support that way. The institutions can help provide some balance. They can actually take some of the load off of the work that has to be done to run the grant. In the financial area, for example, if they're keeping track of the money and sharing it back with you, that's a great piece that you won't have to do and gives you a chance to work on the actual project itself. certainly benefits for everyone. Everybody gets to share in the prestige and recognition. The colleges get some money through their indirect costs rates. That's been the strong support from the college has been documented again and again in the NSF ATE community for both projects and centers. So it's really a good way to have a strong partnership with your institution. Oh, and lastly, the host institutes can contribute to sustainability by making sure that your programs become part of the college, if at all possible. That's happens in a lot of different ways. It's always interesting to see how creative people are in moving a grant-funded project or activity into a college-supported ongoing activity. So these are specifics about these partnerships. So we're going to talk about partnerships in a different video, different webinar. But they're important here because you also need to kind of keep this in mind, that you want to have a good partnership within the college with your internal support people, as well as the actual project partners that may be external. So be sure that you have candid communication with all of them. Make sure you're a good listener to what they have to say and how they do things. Those are all set policies, and you may just have to adjust to how they do things. Appreciate their motivation and their culture. They're in a, if you're talking about those who can help, they are very process oriented and based on policies of the institution itself. Make sure you try to cultivate a strong personal connection. It's really nice to be able to go to somebody for help when you're in a bind and not sure what to do. Value and acknowledge the relationships and contribute to the outcomes of your project, especially measurable outcomes. What's in it for me and what's in it for the college? It's really important to be sure that you kind of keep that in mind, that the project is not just for you, but it's also for your internal partners and supporters within the college. They won't all have the same what's in it for them as what's in it for you, but be sure to appreciate what they do have. You need these folks, so sustaining those partnerships requires some high-touch activities, and that you should have a clear strategic vision as to why the work matters and what you want and expect those partners, internal partners, to do, and what are the potential benefits. Make sure they understand that they're getting something from their activities and participation as well. Sell and share your own vision and those benefits. Sustaining it requires seeing the project from many sides, and that includes their sides, not just yours. Initial contacts with those people should be personal and on their time. We require regular interactions that might not relate to your project. So just reach out and check in every once in a while with some of those people in HR, even though you don't need to hire someone this particular summer. For all projects, you need some measurable outcomes, and all of those people, partners, helpers, can support your measurable outcomes. The institutional research particularly, or dean's office that have some data, may be very helpful for providing you with measurable data so you can have a greater impact in your project. So again, before you engage anyone to work with you, and be sure that you're going to be able to produce the desired impact, that you've identified some measurable outcomes, that you can work together efficiently, that you can strengthen all the partners, and that hopefully some innovation will evolve and will eventually lead to some deeper relationships and collaborations. That's always a great outcome. I think we're running close to the end, but we'll go through this quickly. Some suggestions for reaching out to people that you don't know. have a really short, clear rationale for what you want to do and why you want to do it. Provide them with a one-page handout or summary of what you want to do so they can get the drift of what your project might be. Learn from them, learn what's important to them so you can build on that. Communicate with them, don't just talk at them. And suggest possible outcomes for them that might enhance their own personal and professional development, maybe particular activities that some of their students, if it's another faculty, might get involved in, all of those things. And as always, be prepared with good alternatives. You never know when they're going to say, no, you can't do it that way. Follow up with conversations and maintain contact. I think we talked about that before. And one last comment on partners and collaborators. This is kind of a fine line, but collaborators are usually longer term relationships that have built from a partnership. Partners might be defined on a particular project, but building them into long-term collaborators where you work together, where sometimes you may not get a particular objective out of the relationship, but they do. It may turn out to be that the next time they help you, even though they don't get a particular needed outcome from a project. So that's a great place to be as you build your relationships with people as partners, and think of it, okay, if they were doing this right now and you get this and I get that. But ultimately, good strong collaborators will help each other even when they don't get something out, because they know down the road they'll be able to get something in the future. And so thank you very much. There's my contact information, and have a great day.
Thank you, Marilyn.